Welcome to the Explainer. Okay, let's just jump right into this. Today we're taking a hard, critical look at a massive state of paralysis that is currently gripping the AI cybersecurity world. We're talking about Project Glasswing. Now, if you've been following this, you know this was a truly massive initiative that unleashed an incredibly advanced AI system known as Mythos to dig deep, really deep, into immense code bases. And you know what? It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It found the critical security vulnerabilities. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. Finding the problems turns out to be only half the battle. Because right now, despite knowing exactly where all the weak points are, the tech industry is completely frozen when it comes to actually fixing them.
The vulnerability list is not a report, it is a race, and right now humanity is losing it. That perfectly captures the incredibly high stakes and the sheer urgency surrounding Project Glasswing. We are not talking about some casual to-do list for software developers to get to whenever they have a spare sprint, right? We're talking about critical infrastructure flaws, deep-seated vulnerabilities that expose entire systems, and the clock on those vulnerabilities is relentlessly ticking down.
Section 1. The scrolling list, or the aftermath of Project Glasswing.
To really grasp this profound paralysis, we have to look at the context Aaron Rose paints in the special May 2026 edition of Tech Reader magazine. He describes a conference room filled with top-tier engineers, but there's this eerie quiet in the room. It's no longer that tense, fast-paced quiet of a live hack in progress. No, it's the heavy, exhausting quiet of weeks passing. It's the silence of endless legal reviews, exhaustive risk assessments, and just bureaucratic red tape paralyzing the smartest people in the room. And meanwhile, projected up on the wall, a never-ending list of vulnerabilities generated by the Mythos AI just keeps scrolling and scrolling. The AI did its job, right? It found the bugs. But the core question haunting that room, and honestly the entire tech industry right now, is simple. Now what? What actually comes next?
That brings us to the diagnosis paradox, and two very uncomfortable scenarios.
Rose uses a brilliant analogy to explain this absurdity, and it just perfectly captures the bizarre boundary we've somehow drawn between discovering a bug and actually fixing it. Imagine going to a highly trained doctor. In scenario A, the doctor gives you a pretty grim diagnosis, knows exactly what the cure is, but simply closes your folder, wishes you the best of luck, and walks right out the door. That's essentially how Project Glasswing functions right now. The AI steps back just when it could help us the most. But then, the flip side is equally crazy. Imagine the doctor diagnoses the illness, writes out the exact prescription you need to be cured, hands it to you, and you just politely decline to take it. That is literally what major organizations are doing right now. The treatment exists, the fix is written, but they're declining it. Why? Out of a profound reluctance to cede control of their production code to an AI system that they just don't fully trust yet.
Which leads us into the machine speed math and the unspoken arithmetic of the situation.
So the crucial point here is the math that nobody really wants to talk about out loud. Less than 1%. Just let that sink in for a second. Out of all the thousands of critical vulnerabilities found by the Mythos AI across the entire Glasswing project, less than 1% have actually been patched. Less than 1%. The rest of that massive list just keeps growing, silently, in the background, waiting for human hands that are honestly never going to arrive in time.
And this builds into a totally insurmountable bottleneck: human speed versus machine speed. Security teams, no matter how incredibly talented they are, operate at human speed. Even your absolute best engineer, working late into the night, might only address a handful of significant vulnerabilities in a given week. They have to do triage, manual review, testing. It's a grueling process. But the Mythos AI, it doesn't sleep. It found thousands of vulnerabilities in mere days. Because of this massive compounding mathematical gap, you literally cannot hire your way out of this problem. Even if you hired every single talented security engineer on planet Earth, if the AI keeps scanning at its current rate, human teams simply cannot keep up. The arithmetic is fundamentally broken.
So, let's talk solutions. Defining client in the loop and dispelling the autonomous myth.
We really need to dismantle a terrifying and just incredibly inaccurate misconception that is holding everything back right now. I'm talking about that Hollywood idea of an autonomous AI running wild, changing core production code in the middle of the night with zero human oversight. That is absolutely not what's being proposed here. What is actually being proposed is called client in the loop. It's a highly structured, deliberately paced workflow. Step 1, the AI identifies the vulnerability and proposes a documented fix. Step 2, and this is crucial, a human engineer steps in. They review the exact code change line by line, and they have total power to approve, modify, or reject it entirely. Then step 3, only after that explicit human approval does the AI move forward to rigorously test and implement the fix. You see? The human remains the ultimate authority at every single critical decision point.
And look, if you work in software, you know this isn't some radical, untested new concept. We already trust automated workflows every single day. We use automated testing pipelines to catch errors. We rely on AI-assisted code reviews to spot sloppy syntax. We implicitly trust continuous integration systems that run thousands of complex checks before a human ever even clicks merge. Client in the loop is simply a logical extension of these exact same daily practices, just applied to a massive security problem we literally have no other way of solving. We're already doing all the pieces, we just need to put them together.
Moving on to the liability flip and changing the legal perspective.
This right here is where we need a major paradigm shift. The conventional fear gripping those conference rooms is all about the legal and ethical liability of letting an AI fix code. The immediate panic is always, well, what if the AI breaks something downstream? Who gets sued? But we need to flip that conventional wisdom entirely on its head. The question we should really be asking is this: what is the liability of doing nothing? What actually happens when an organization knows definitively that it has thousands of critical vulnerabilities in its production code, has the exact AI tool needed to fix them sitting right there, but chooses to just wait?
As Aaron Rose points out, the answer to that question is chilling. Informed non-action in the face of known risk is not a liability shield, it is a liability. If those unpatched vulnerabilities are exploited, pointing out that you were waiting for some flawless, universally agreed-upon legal framework is not going to save you. Because here is the harsh reality. Malicious actors are not having philosophical debates in quiet conference rooms. They aren't waiting for corporate ethics panels to convene. They are actively exploiting these exact vulnerabilities right now, entirely unburdened by the caution that's currently paralyzing the defenders. That asymmetry should be a massive wake-up call to the entire industry.
So how do we move forward? Trusting the meta system, an AI watching AI.
Of course, we do have to acknowledge that organizations aren't just being stubborn for the fun of it. Trust in a non-human actor must be actively built. It cannot just be blindly given away. So, the real challenge becomes, how do we scale human trust to match machine speed? Enter the fascinating concept of the meta system. It's essentially AI watching AI. A meta system is designed to actively monitor the fixing AI. It verifies the primary AI's reasoning, it flags anomalies, and it provides a crucial layer of machine speed accountability. By using an AI to hold the fixing AI accountable, it augments our human oversight. It ensures that the human's role in the loop becomes incredibly meaningful, completely informed, and most importantly, fast enough to actually matter.
And this brings us to a surprisingly optimistic takeaway. Figuring out how to trust AI to fix our code isn't some endless, abstract philosophical debate that we're going to be stuck having for the next decade. It's really simply an engineering question. We just need to build the systems that make the AI trustworthy enough. And the good news? Engineers are really good at solving engineering questions. They have concrete, solvable answers. It's definitely going to take work, but we know exactly how to build these kinds of oversight architectures.
Which brings us right back to that conference room. The vulnerability list is still scrolling. The question is whether the industry will build the systems needed to act on what it sees before the attackers act first. We have the grim diagnosis, and we have the exact prescription. We even have the tools to ensure the treatment is administered safely. The race is officially on, and the clock is ticking loudly in the background. So, will we step up, build the meta systems, and authorize the AI to start fixing the very flaws it found? Or will we just sit on our hands, debating legal theory, until the attackers make the decision for us? That is the billion-dollar question we have to answer next. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.